Football. Well, hello, tis me, Andy Peters, and welcome to Football Weekly. We're going to be doing a full season preview of every team in the competition. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. Let's get cracking with the Champions League. I don't know why I've done that voice, but the Champions League, of course, is going to be very interesting this season. We've got two new teams, Saint-Étienne and, of course, MK Dons, both of whom have improved significantly in key areas. The teams that are already there, and the champions, of course, Leeds United, have sorted out their defence tenfold, and Bohemians, who are cup winners, also strengthened particularly two key players, which we'll get into later, which will really tie that room together. So we're going to start off with the champions, Leeds United. Leeds, of course, have had an incredible campaign last year, winning the Champions League and the Super Potato, and they are one of the strongest teams in the competition. They have signed Koulibaly and Maguire, two significant additions to the team. Two players who I believe will shore up an already impregnable defence. It'll be interesting to see how last season's highest scoring team and most attacking team, Saint-Étienne, break them down, but we'll get on to those in a few moments. But yeah, they've signed Koulibaly and Maguire, both extremely important players for them. With De Bruyne already, of course, in the team, we'll see how they all get on. But yeah, they're, again, probably still favourites. That team is incredible. Strong all over the pitch, particularly up front, where Neymar, of course, last season really grew into the game and performed miracles at a number of points. We'll move on to Bohemians. So Bohemians were runners-up last year, of course, after an incredible second half of the season. Can they build on that with the signings that they've made? Probably. Kroos, of course, is the headline signing. Everybody knows that. But the signing I think is going to be key is Marcelo. Marcelo, left back. He will be usually linking up with the second half of last season's star performer, Raheem Sterling. So we'll see how they link up, and that could be incredible. As an attacking force down the left hand side. Down the right, they've still got Hazard. They've still got up front through the middle, Antoine Griezmann, who really, again, revelation last season. So it'll be interesting to see if the Kroos Marcelo signings really light up that room. Saint-Étienne, last season's Europa League champions, have come into the season and have not. They were one of the most attacking and exciting teams last season, and they have not rested. They have signed Dybala, another fine addition to the front line of any team, but in particular this one, where they could realistically tear teams apart. It'll be fascinating to see how they get on against the Leeds United side, who have, as we've gone before, the strongest defence in football. What a matchup that's going to be. And they've also Saint-Étienne have also signed in Nainggolan, a strong combative midfielder. Will he link up well with Ndidi? We don't know yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And Cuadrado, who can play right wing back, which is something that not a lot of people knew until they looked at Sofia. We'll move on from them to MK Dons, one of the strongest squads in the entire competition. They've lost, of course, Modric and Ronaldo, two key players, but they brought in Kimmich and Messi. Lionel Messi, of course, last season's surprising star player in some ways. He was fantastic in the second half of the season as he found his position outside left. Will MK play with him in his best position, or will they struggle to find something? They struggle to get Modric in. They've replaced Modric with Milinkovic-Savic, two very different players. One small, diminutive, crafty. The other, a giant of a man who hits the post a lot in football. So we'll see how frustrating that becomes over the course of the season. In my opinion, some teams still need to strengthen in the Champions League, but not as much as they will in the Europa League. So in the Europa League, Dortmund, of course, relegated, lost the playoff to MK Dons after last season star player Aguero knocked them out. But they've also got but they have signed players. Last season, their entire problem was they were unable to score goals. So to combat that, they've signed Erling Haaland, the flash in the pan, but also a massive mobile cannon. He is huge, he is fast, he is strong, and he is able to shoot from pretty much anywhere. We'll see how he gets on in football. But the other player that they've signed is Coman, who again very fast, can be erratic in football, but could be hugely important over the course of the season. I was looking through some of the other players that they haven't signed. When I say they haven't signed, it's obviously Dortmund's main focus has been athleticism and speed, and there's some pacey players out there who they could have signed. Sessegnon, for instance, was recently released by Real Sociedad, and he could be a good signing for them in that to cover down that left hand side. He can play in left back or left midfield. Anyway, we'll move on from that to Lazio, the last season's bottom team in the Champions League. They have only signed one player, but what a player they've signed! San Alexandro. He's a left wing back. He is able to play up and down that left hand flank. And with a team who were trying incredibly hard to get that balance right between right and left hand side, especially with the loss of Kevin De Bruyne to Leeds in last summer's shock signing. Getting some sort of width in there is going to be very important to them. They've obviously got that huge striker in Vardy and Lukaku, so we'll see how they get on. Moving on from them to one of the most changed sides in the league, Cologne. They have released a few players, and they have lost Messi, of course, as we discussed earlier on, but they've signed Cristiano Ronaldo. Indeed, they've signed a number of players who the manager and chairman have worked with before, Luka Modric and Cristiano Ronaldo, and have both worked with the manager, Zorin, and the Moutinho, former mainstay of Pablo Aimless's incredible River Plate side from a number of years, or was it? Tijuana side a few years ago. He has also come in back up, probably, but also an incredible. I mean, he could be a sleeper hit for this season with his ability to play the ball, hit the wings, and even balls over the top. With Ronaldo and Kane up front, we could be in for quite some attacking team. Lack of pace though down the flanks again. We'll see how that works out as the season progresses. Right, so we're going to move on to Real Sociedad, Defty Disco, bottom team last season in the Europa League. Worst team in football, many were saying, not me. Their issue was, of course, scoring goals. They just weren't able to do it. They weren't able to defend either. They haven't really particularly sorted out that defence. In fact, they've sold the best defender in the game to Leeds United. One of the best defenders in the game to Leeds United. But what they have gotten is they've got Thiago Silva in, but they've gotten Eriksen in and Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic was just kind of a spur of the moment signing, but I think he could be a huge signing for them. Again, most teams in this league, it's going to be competitive. The Europa League, of course, the free scoring league of last year, will that have changed now that Dortmund and Leeds or Dortmund and Lazio have signed in? We don't know. We won't know until later on in the season. But I am pretty optimistic that as the season progresses, we're going to have a lot of changes, and that's one of the leagues that's going to go up and down over the course of the year. But yeah, I will talk to you later, I suppose. Thank you.